Welcome students to Unit 2. In this unit we're going to cover chapters, and you need to read chapters 2 and 3 in Layman's book. In these two chapters we are going to learn about how to identify arguments, the difference between arguments and non-arguments, well-crafted arguments and what those are, and the relationship between logic and language, which gets us into the nature of meaning and emotive force in language, and also into the concept of definitions. And whether you know it or not, there are many ways that we can define words, and we're going to talk about that. So we have ostensible definitions, which essentially are when we point to an object to define a term that we have, and we also have stipulated definitions, which are usually very useful in arguments, where we stipulate the definition we're using of a term so that we can move on in the argument, and so that those that are reading the argument know what we mean by the term. And when it comes to arguments and non-arguments, it's very helpful to be able to identify when an argument is used and when it's not used. So I have a colleague that was teaching this course a while back, and a student raised their hand and said, "What about this argument? Birth control limits God." And we asked, what's the argument? The thing is, that's just an assertion. That's not an argument. An argument needs to be given, and those are the reasons to either believe birth control limits God, or birth control limits God has other implications and therefore is a premise in an argument. So an argument could be something like, anything that limits God is bad, birth control limits God, therefore birth control is bad. So that would be a way to develop an actual argument around that assertion. And so the question that we are going to really learn in this class is that argument valid? And it needs to be sound as well. The premises need to be true. So we need to be able to identify the difference between just bare assertions, unwarranted assertions, and arguments themselves. In this unit, you will also take quiz 2, and like in quiz 1, you just need to know and memorize and learn in your heart the definitions in bold in the book related to the definitions of the different types of definitions, and the difference between arguments and non-arguments, and any bold in the book will be very helpful for preparing for the quiz.